Welcome to Well Rounded Momma's YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. My name is Sherry and this is Tiffany, and we are both midwives in the Las Vegas Valley. Today we want to talk about precipitous birth. If you find this video helpful, like, subscribe, ring the bell, share with your friends. What does precipitous birth mean?
A very fast birth.
So anything less than 5 hours is considered precipitous. What do you do when you're having a home birth and you're having a super fast labor? People always ask me, they're like, what if I have the baby before you get there? And I'm like, well, if you call me in time, I usually can get there. I had one client have a 45-minute labor and I made that birth. And then I have other clients who had like 10-hour labors, but they never called me until it was too late. That's why EMS lives, is because sometimes people can't get to the hospital in time. But if you're having a home birth and your midwife is en route, the majority of the time you're going to be fine. We can get anywhere in this town in 30 to 40 minutes depending on traffic. Making sure that you've had really good conversations with your midwife about when to call her. We generally tell first-time moms to call us and let us know when they're in labor so that we can stay in contact with them. Most of our clients call us when their contractions are 4-1-1. That means they're 4 minutes apart, lasting a minute long, and they've been that way for an hour. Then we know you're getting ready to be in like early active labor. And that's when midwives want to be with you, is when you're in active labor. Early labor, we really think that you should feel confident that you can handle early labor, or you've set up a team of your husband or a doula that can be there with you in early labor. A hospital will tell you to go to the hospital when it's 5-1-1. That's 5 minutes apart, lasting a minute long, and they've been that way for an hour. The reason they tell you that is because for them to place an epidural, they want you to be at least 3 centimeters, correct? Yep. And so that means you're at least 3 centimeters, so by the time you got there, you could get your epidural.
Sometimes they're sending people home now, though.
Another midwife here just had a client who got induced, and she just got sent home. She's 6 centimeters. She was on Pitocin, and they just stopped the Pitocin and sent the client home. That's crazy, man.
Yep. I've had somebody almost get sent away at 4 or 5 centimeters.
Now, with somebody who's already had a baby, you technically can be walking around at 6 centimeters and not in labor. So that's really hard. Late in labor would be early labor, and in a first-time mom, that's anything from 0 to 4 centimeters. And a mom that's already had a baby, that's anything from 0 to 6 centimeters. And so if you can imagine, when you go into labor, it's going to be quicker. Yeah. And so it's not uncommon that we have somebody call us and say, hey, they're only 10 minutes apart, and then she has a baby an hour later. That totally can happen. In fact, that just happened to me.
Me too, in January.
She had I think like a 5-ish hour labor, but the active part was more like an hour. And she called and said, I guess you can come. She was kind of like, I guess you can come. I don't want you to stare at me though.
I don't want you to be sitting here doing nothing. Like, it's okay.
We don't care. We don't
want
to stare at you. We're creepy like that. I'm
like,
I'll go
or
sleep
we can
on
just
your
go
couch.
lay on your couch.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm on the phone with my clients, or like a parent, another parent, or a mother-in-law, or a mom that's there. I'm happy to be on the phone as I'm driving to you, but usually we've
done FaceTime
as midwives. We've never been more than like 10-20 minutes away from our clients. The good news about a precipitous labor is the majority of the time, not all of the time, but the majority of the time, a baby that's coming that fast is going to be fine.
Yeah. They're like,
we can't promise that, but the majority of the time. Just putting baby on your chest and hanging out skin to skin is kind of what we want you to hang out and do, because your baby is still attached to the placenta, which is breathing for your baby, and your baby's getting all that good red blood cell.
Yep.
So you're just going to hang out, wait for your midwife to arrive. Now, if baby were to come out not breathing or blue,
call EMS.
So you're going to call 911, stimulating the baby, rubbing the baby, making sure baby's nice and warm.
I had a mom actually breathe for her baby.
I've had a couple moms that instinctively,
she just instinctively
blew a breath into baby. And now remember, if you do breathe into a baby, their lungs and everything is so tiny.
Just little
so just teeny, like butterfly breaths.
Like,
you don't want to do it like a human. If you've taken adult CPR, do not adult CPR that newborn child.
Please don't.
That could be a bullet point. Do not adult CPR that newborn.
No,
sometimes people do really worry about, will I get a tub there in time? Like, if you know you have fast labors, probably either purchasing your own inflatable or borrowing an inflatable from someone, or using your own tub. Yeah. Probably a tub service is not going to be your best bet, because you have to allow a minimum of 2 hours for the tub to arrive and be set up. Now, the other thing to remember too is all of our clients have your home birth kit, and although some of us midwives tell you not to touch it,
you can touch it.
That's me. You can touch it. If things
Take
are moving quickly,
put it underneath you.
We even have a cute little vomit bag in there. Yes. We think it's funny when we show up and people have like opened up that box and they've put everything away. And I'm like,
where is it all?
That's a trick. That's a trick. I'm going to learn a lot about you because I'm going to go digging through your stuff to find out. We just kind of want the birth box contained, but if you feel like things are moving fast, there's probably some really helpful things in that. If you have a baby that's born unresponsive, call 911. I think response time in our town is anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes, so they're really quick. Hopefully your midwife's closer than that, but that's kind of that. Any other things about precipitous birth?
I don't know. I think if you have a precipitous birth, you should probably thank your lucky stars that it wasn't 48 hours long.
Yeah.
There are worse problems to have than
I
a
had
precipitous
that one
birth.
client though, I've delivered several of her babies, and her labors are all like 5 or 6 hours long, totally like straightforward births. And she had one birth with me that was like an hour. And she always had water births. She was always in the tub. When I walked into that birth, she was sitting on the toilet and her eyes were just looking at me. What's happening? What's happening? And then she pushed the baby right out for I think 2 hours. She just kept going, what just happened?
What just happened? Yeah.
What just happened?
Kind of
so
shocking.
it is a little shocking.
For
And
sure.
so partners for you, that means making sure that mom and baby are warm, comfortable, they're talked to in nice, easygoing voices. Because I think sometimes partners, you're nervous, so you have this, sometimes you freak out a little bit. Don't freak out. Staying calm, I think, is probably the most helpful thing you can do in those precipitous births, because already what they are going through is hard. All right. So if you had a precipitous birth, share your story down below. We want to hear about it. We want to hear about that fast labor, that baby that came in the hospital parking lot, beside the road, or in your bathtub without your midwife there.
Yeah.
We want to hear all about it. Thanks for joining us this week, and we look forward to seeing you next week. If you think of any other topics you would like us to discuss, let us know, and we'd be happy to cover them. Have a good day. I'm going to hold my knee so I don't use my pointing finger.
Okay.
I'm going to try and speak in complete sentences because my daughter showed me how she edits my video, and she's like, you never complete a sentence before starting the next one. I have to talk like I write.
Oh, thanks, daughter.
Thanks, daughter.